Hello and welcome back to Saber Outdoors. I, of course, am your wonderful host, Mark Alexander, and today, we are back in our basics videos. And guys, we are going over the basics of plastics. Yummy. But guys, plastics for people that are getting started in fishing are a great place to start. If you know how to rig them, you are going to be able to do anything you want. Throw your lures anywhere you want. Let me tell you, you can get up in some nasty stuff with this. But let's just see what categories we're working with. What kind of baits can you get that are plastic? So, let me open this one. Now, this particular plastic is a toad. Now, this is meant to fish on top of the water. It goes along the top, and those legs back there, they catch the water and they kick as they're going across the water. Now, I happen to have one rigged right here. I usually rig mine with the Saber rig so that there is a weight at the bottom to kind of act like a, I can't think of the right name for it. Basically to act like something to keep it stable and running straight in the water. Because if there's no weight on the bottom of it, it kind of sometimes wants to wander wherever or flip over and run the wrong way. And I don't like that. So if you put a little weight on the bottom of it, it runs nice and straight, and the legs kick better because they're further down in the water. But the second category is swim baits. Guys, let me get these open. Swim baits, and these in particular are paddle tail swim baits, are a great option. They make them huge, they make them small. These are reasonably small. And all the lures I'm going over are bass lures. There's a whole world of crappie plastics. There's a whole world of extra large musky plastics that we're gonna stay far away from today. But this is a finesse swim bait. And what it is, you just cast it and reel it back in most of the time. And that tail's back there doing one of these jobs. And it looks like a small bait fish, and the bass go, that looks tasty, and it's all by itself. And they'll nail it out of nowhere. You just be fishing, and they'll just come out of a piece of cover or underneath the weeds or any number of other places, and they'll just nail that thing. But that's that real quick. Now, this is a first cousin to a swim bait. This is a grub. Now, grubs can be small enough for bluegill, large enough for muskie, but here they are, and I have a spinner on this particular grub. Now, that tail, if you fold it all the way up, does this here. This is commonly known as a curly tail grub. But let me put it back up a moment, and then I'll tell you about it a little more. So, if I can ever get my throat clear, I swear guys, it truthfully is the changing of the seasons during this video. But when you are fishing this, that tail's back there shimmering, and it looks like a really small motion of a bait fish. And again, they come out of nowhere and nail it. They destroy these things. Those have been around for decades. Now, my favorite plastic. This is a soft jerk bait. Now, this particular one is a Fluke. It's the most popular by far. But with this, as the name suggests, you do not reel this through the water, and you don't hop it off the bottom like you would a worm, which we'll get to later. You take this and you jerk it, boom, boom. You jerk it back and forth, and what it does, it runs like a darting bait fish back and forth. And depending on how fast you jerk it, it could boom, 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 boom. And it could be running back and forth fast like that. But that tail back there is so limber that it does like almost a 180 if you really jerk it hard. And these in particular, once you slack up on them, like you jerk, it will actually slowly fall back down, which drives them crazy because it looks like a dying bait fish. And they are like, cool, dying bait fish, that probably can't run. I'll go nail that, have an easy meal. If you notice, most of these things are things that bass eat. What a shock. Things that bass eat are good to imitate to catch bass. I don't know if you knew that. But here's another thing that bass eat and bass hate. And that is a lizard. I'll get one out and show you in full. Now, a lizard is usually, you can see the head right there, and then there's the body. Now, these all of these will do like that curly tail and flutter as you pull them through the water, if you do pull them through the water. And I've got a tail here that also, it will flutter if you pull it through the water. Now, most of the time, all I do with this is either drag it or I do really little light hops. It's almost like a salamander running through the brush on the underside on the bottom of the water. And the bass, especially in the springtime, they hate these. They hate them with a passion because they eat their eggs. So if they see a lizard in the springtime especially, they're going to nail that thing to the wall. But guys, let's move on. Now, we have here probably the most common jig trailer that there is, and that is a crawfish. Now, crawfish is a viable bait all by itself. I've fished it many times alone. But let's get her out and get her a look. You can see the legs and the big claws. Now, they make some of these claws where they are reasonably stiff so that they don't move very much. And then they make some of them where they flop like crazy. And that's a brand-to-brand thing, and you'll have to watch a different video that's more advanced in that respect to figure that out. Myself, I like a very active, vibrant one of these because these in particular, they enact a lot of action when you pull your jig up. They are flapping and going. Now, when your jig is still, that's when the jig does its work, and you just see those rubber feet just gently moving in the water. And when a fish rushes up on it, they move even more like something that's alive. But that's a basics video that I've already done. If you want to go watch it, go watch it. But the next thing, it's a first cousin to a jig. It is a creature. I said the first cousin to a jig. I meant the first cousin to a craw. That is a creature bait. Now, creature baits are not something bass eat. They're not anything. They don't exist. But they're a big flappy thing, and this does not get a food response bite. This gets a, I don't know what that is, but it might be food. So this gets a curiosity bite. This is the kind of thing that you would fish that your bass aren't responding to usual things. So you throw something that doesn't look like anything else. You throw either this, which is a brush hog style bait. There's also beaver style baits where it's not two claws separate but one together. And I don't have an example of that. I'm sorry, guys. This is just what I have. But those don't look like anything in nature. They get a curiosity bite. They get a bite from bass that says, I don't know what that is, but I don't have hands or feet to explore it. I only have my mouth. So I'm going to bite that thing and chew on it a minute and see if it tastes like anything that I might like. Now, I saved this lure for last. It is by far the most versatile style of lure. There are these that have curly tails on them. There are these that have ribbon tails on them. There are these that are for drop shotting and finesse applications. There's these that are giant sized and are 10 to 12 inches long, and even longer than that if you want to get real particular. And that is a worm. A worm is a extremely versatile bait. So like this worm right here, this is a stick worm. So this doesn't have any flappy parts. This doesn't have any anything that you could say is particularly flashy about it, but you can do so much with this. You can wacky rig this. You can Texas rig this. You can Carolina rig this. You can rig this with a nail weight so that it sits like this and your hook's up here in the back of the bait. There are endless amounts of ways to rig this. You can tear this in half and make it into a Ned worm, and that's basically a half-sized Senko, which is what this is based off of, is a Senko, but this is referred to broadly as a stick bait. But guys, that's all the plastics, not all inclusively, but that's a good basic look into all the plastics that there are available. And I guarantee you there are every shape, every color that you can think of. There are some for the ocean that look like crab, that look like squid. There are some for larger fish that look exactly like a swim bait. I said a swim bait. They are a swim bait that look exactly like a bluegill. There are a massive amount of these. Many manufacturers. You see, I've used, let's see, 1, 2, 3 just here. And I could have used one individually for each and every one. There are a ton of manufacturers. Guys, when you're starting out, buy the cheap stuff. Go to a plain old creme bait or Zoom. Zoom is also a very good budget bait. Try them out, see what you like. For me, my favorite is by far the Fluke. The Fluke works year-round. It's my favorite bait, far and away. But for most people, it would be either a worm, or if they are a jig fisherman, it would be either a creature or a craw. But everybody's got their own, and there's lots of flavors to choose from as far as the favorite. All you have to do is go use them and see which one it is for you. But guys, we're gonna quit talking. We're gonna go take our plastics and we're gonna go try and catch us some fish on them. See you there. All right, guys, so I am at one of my favorite little ponds, but it is covered hard with a lot of mess. Now, the nice thing about plastics is you can rig them on a worm hook and hide the hook inside of the plastic. You can put that tip in there, and then there's nothing really to get hung up. So I'm gonna throw out there in that thick stuff, and I'm just gonna start reeling, because that's how you usually work a toad. A toad is not a hop and skip kind of bait. You just throw it out and you reel it back in. But this toad is from Culprit. It's called the Incredifrog. But it has big paddle feet on the back of it, so it really makes a lot of noise coming through. But you can see it's making lots of commotion on top of the water, but I'm pulling it through all that nastiness, and I'm pulling that weight through all this nastiness, and it comes back in with hardly anything on it. Like just a little shake and it's already gone. So guys, we're gonna fish this for a while, see if maybe we can stumble into a fish. I may change up and go to something else. Now, I will at some point show you how to correctly rig these, because lots of people don't rig them correctly, and that's why there's don't last as well as they should. But we're gonna keep fishing this until we catch one, or until we quit fishing it. Oh, I had a bite. Let's get back in there. He didn't come back for it, but I got a bite, guys. Whew. Nothing gets me more fired up. Well, guys, other than that one bite, they don't seem to be on the toad. So we're gonna change our toad for probably gonna end up being a Senko, but I keep calling it a Senko. I mean a stick bait. So guys, I'm gonna get back with you when I get up to the truck. All right, guys, so I said I would show you how to rig one of these. So first thing, tie your hook. There's no reason not to have it already tied on. Let me get all the slimy slime off of there. So take your hook, have your bait, put it in until the hook starts to bend, and then run it out, just like that. Now, worm hook has a step down for this, and I'll show you in a moment why. So we put the worm in, pull your knot into the worm until you get past that step down. See how I'm past it now? And that worm's setting on that shoulder. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna saber rig this. So I'm gonna take me one of these weights, just like this with the wire on it, and I'm gonna put that on the hook, just like that there. Now, what that's gonna do for me, it's gonna give me a little weight, make it easier to throw. It's also gonna make this worm drop straight rather than drop nose down or butt down. But we take our lure, we get a general idea where that bend of that hook's gonna be, and we mark that with our finger, and then we come through it just like that. And that's our worm rigged. Now, if you want this to be super duper weedless, you will pull that bait up just a little bit and put the tip of the hook in there, and you see that's in there. You don't have to worry about pulling that through weeds, pulling that through brush, pulling that through anything you need to. It's called texposing. But guys, we're gonna quit talking, we're gonna go to walking and get back to fishing. All right, we're up here with our stick worm. Let's go. Now with this style of bait, you let it sink to the bottom, and you can either slowly reel it back, or you can do like what I do, which is I give it a little hop and let it sit. Just a little hop and let it sit. And I work it all the way back just like that. Now you also can drag it back slowly. It works very much like a jig. If you can work a jig, you can work this. And the same is true on the other end. If you can work this, you can work a jig. Now we're gonna ease this back, see if we can get a bite. All right guys, so we tried, we failed today. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shove in some catches on plastics that we had in the past. That way you can see plastics work, there's nothing wrong with them. I'm gonna do that right here. There he is. That's a nice fish right there. Now boys, that's a hoss fish right there. That is what we've been waiting for 2 days. Oh, got him. I must have landed it right on his head. All right, all right. Woo! The green pumpkin riverside thing getting her done. Look at that. It is in there. But changing is gonna cost me some time. Oh, and about time I say that, I got one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, sir.
That's a good fish.
Yes, sir. Mark Alexander is on day board. One to one, Srosh. Now, having seen those things, you see plastics work. There's nothing wrong with them. They're highly versatile, highly versatile. You can do almost anything you can think up with plastics. You can use plastics that aren't even meant for freshwater to catch fish. Don't worry, that video will come in the future. But guys, that's all there is to say for this video. I'm gonna go ahead and just ask for the usual YouTube things like share, subscribe, comment. Please hit the bell notification. I'm gonna say it twice because it's so important. Subscribe, please. It means so much to me and it costs you nothing. So guys, with all that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you somewhere in the woods or on the water.